It's time for the Dulcify Quality Handicap now at Randwick, and as we go out to Johnny Tapp at Randwick, Tappy, Dulcify was a horse with a lot of quality, mate.
Gee, he was a great horse, Ian, no doubt about it. Dulcify had to be destroyed after breaking his pelvis in the 1979 Melbourne Cup. And just the other day I was reading an article about trainer Colin Hayes, who intends to gradually phase himself out of horse training now. And he was actually asked the question to name his saddest moment in racing, and he unhesitatingly declared that Dulcify's tragic breakdown in that Melbourne Cup was indeed his saddest. Ken, one thing's for sure, there are no Dulcifys in this race.
That's for sure, John. Yeah, I was at Flemington the day Dulcify broke down, and he certainly was affected, Colin Hayes. And he was a great horse. He won the AJC Derby here on protest from Double Century in what is one of the more controversial decisions in racing. But that's many years ago. Now it's the Dulcify handicap and the 3-year-olds of today. Number 1, Sakana, which I've tipped, is into about 15 to 4, just under 4 to 1. Brinny, about an 11 to 2 chance. Outgun, 11 to 4, out to 3 to 1. He hasn't run for 10 weeks. That's probably his problem. 7 to 1 back home. Oakwood, a Bart Cummings trained horse, stablemate of Sir Midas, a late scratching, is at 12 to 1 and seems good odds to me. Shipwreck, been very well backed in the ring, into about 11 to 2. Zephyr Crown, a 16 to 1 chance, out to 20 to 1. 20 to 1 also Flying Aces. Sir Midas, as I said, was a late scratching, a surprise late scratching. Quartet is at 20 to 1. Little Miracles at 14 to 1. Aquatic at 100 to 1. And Southern Express also at 100 to 1. 12 to run with 1 scratching. My tip, Sakana, in a pretty tricky Dulcify quality. Here's Johnny.
OK, Ken, and they're having trouble with a filly called Southern Express, who gave trouble before she even went onto the track, and she's giving a damn sight more now that she's behind the gates. They've got her now, however, and Johnny Marshall is about to remount. We might pick up one of the highlights, or the early highlights, at Moonee Valley in Melbourne today. Race 4 was called the Windy Hill Handicap. Let's see what blew home in that.
They round the home turn, there's a wild charge of them. Round the turn they come, 300 metres left to go. And Piccadilly Pearl on the inside being challenged by Link the Leopard, looming up quickly with a good run. They straighten up, and Link the Leopard on the outside has moved up to hit the front from Piccadilly Pearl, is battling on well. They're clear from Windcrest, and down the outside Catesmill and Carrara Lad, but it's Link the Leopard in front, drawing clear. And the Winfield Perth Cup winner home here in the 4th at the Valley. Link the Leopard by a length and a half. Second home is Piccadilly Pearl. Catesmill may have been third, just ahead of Windcrest.
Link the Leopard, an easy winner of the Windy Hill Handicap. That was John Russell's call. And for anybody who happens to pop a little bit when pronouncing P's, John had a ripper there, Piccadilly Pearl. And he was popping with gay abandon over the last 200 metres. Now, Aquatic has moved up into line, and the starter's just about set to release the field in race 4. The Dulcify Quality Bahrain Trophy, 2,000 metres, and they face squarely, and they're off and running now. And Zephyr Crown didn't begin well. He's a clear last out of the barrier. Oakwood bounced out in front of Quartet and Flying Aces, followed by Brinny, and Outgun was well away. Sakana jumped well, but is trapped out pretty deep in the early part, followed by Back Home, and then Southern Express, Shipwreck and Little Miracles. Zephyr Crown is second last, and Aquatic is last in the run to the mile crossing, and Flying Aces kicked away in front now with plenty of pace on, inclined to go fiercely. Flying Aces, led by 2 lengths or more to Brinny, who arches the neck in second place, a length away to Outgun, followed by Quartet and then Oakwood and Sakana. A length and a half further back is Back Home on the inside of Southern Express, a gap to Shipwreck, followed by Zephyr Crown. Well back is Little Miracles, and a half length away last is Aquatic as they go down the back, and Flying Aces carting them along at a good speed, led by 2.5 lengths on Brinny, nearly a length to Outgun in the box seat, followed by Oakwood and Quartet, and then Sakana, Back Home and Southern Express, followed by Shipwreck, Zephyr Crown. Little Miracles being second last, and Aquatic on the inside as last as they round that top turn. And at the crossing at the 800 now, Flying Aces the leader. Brinny is gradually getting to it. In third place is Outgun, followed by Oakwood, Quartet, and Sakana makes a line of 3. They're starting to pack up tightly now. Southern Express midfield on the outside of Back Home, and then Shipwreck and Zephyr Crown. Little Miracles and Aquatic are back at the tail as they race to the 600 mark and nearing the turn. Flying Aces is almost almost joined by Brinny, who's travelled beautifully from the outset. Outgun in third place, and then Quartet coming into it, followed by Oakwood, and Sakana is carted about 5 deep on the home turn. Into the straight now, and Brinny on the outside is level with Flying Aces. Quartet on the outside. There's a split in the centre for Oakwood, who's joining in, and further out is Sakana as they top the rise, and Sakana sprinting quickly. It reached the lead from Oakwood and Brinny, and then Quartet and Shipwreck, but Sakana clear halfway down the straight. One danger, if any. Shipwreck is coming after Sakana. Sakana still in front. Shipwreck is getting to it. Shipwreck is coming home the better. Sakana and Shipwreck, they hit the line together. Sakana kicked again, heads up, heads down. Sakana maybe a nose to Shipwreck, and they got right away from the others. Probably Oakwood third in front of Brinny, Zephyr Crown. Then Quartet and Aquatic Southern Express back home, followed by Flying Aces, Little Miracles, and Outgun disappointing, pulled up with the tail enders. Oh gee, they're out of stride, these two horses. Heads up, heads down, and whichever one gets the bob of the heads will get the judge's pat. If it goes to Sakana, and he deserves to win because he was forced to cover a heap of extra ground in the race, $2.25 and 80. If it goes to Shipwreck, number 6, it would pay $3.45 and $1.25. Pretty hard to tell on this particular replay angle. Kenny Russell throwing everything but his underpants at Sakana. Shipwreck has the cerise blinkers on the outside. Looked, was going to win 4 times, Shipwreck. Now watch these heads, one up and one down, and I just had the feeling Sakana's head had come down right on the line. Ken, if it has, he'll probably get it.
Johnny was going to win beyond all doubt by about a half head, and I reckon 1 to 2 strides before the line he's dipped. If you watch it very closely, you should see it at this angle. I still think he's probably won, but if he hasn't, it's certainly cost him victory. That's Sakana in front. It's Shipwreck in the cerise colours, pinky looking colours, and the cerise blinkers on, charging at him. Now, watch Sakana with his neck stretched out just when they get near the line. See, just dipped there, took one bad stride. But Sakana's won. Number 1, Sakana has won in a thrilling photo finish. As John said, he just gets the head down right. Shipwreck is second and Oakwood third. 165 official. Johnny, you've called it right.
1, 6 and 5, Oakwood third. He too had a perfect run in the race, looked likely to be in the finish, but I don't know that he's all that ambitious, Oakwood. Sakana to pay $2.25 and 80. Shipwreck on the place tote will pay $1.25, and third money will go to Oakwood, and he'll pay $1.85. Righto, we've got the ball rolling, but Kenny's tip is coming up, and it's Wonder Dancer in the George Main Stakes. TAB number 8 from Ken Callender. And coming up, we talk to David Hislop, preparing to compete in the survival of the fittest.
Keep on running, keep on hiding.
On sale of the century after an astonishing
Time to cross out to Royal Randwick for race number 5, the George Main Stakes. And Tappy, Raja Ma sounds a bit like a Pakistani umpire to me. You never argue with the Pakistani umpires, particularly in Pakistan. Is he worth a comment?
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, I hope he's more popular than the Pakistani umpires are at the moment. Funny thing, there was a quiet tip from Rajamar here at Randwick some 15 or 20 minutes back from a fairly educated source. He could run some sort of a race, although Wonder Dancer is all the rage. Malcolm Johnston started dieting last Monday to make the weight here of 49 kilos. Ken, I was talking to Malcolm earlier in the mounting enclosure. He looks a little bit pasty on it, and he didn't mind admitting that he was pretty crabby and cranky at home yesterday, and his good wife Gail was heard to say, "I'll be glad when the George Main Stakes is over."
Yeah, he put a bit of money in the handbag, and the women are happy. So if he gets the cash here, everything will be sweet. Let's look at the prices. Campaign King is scratched. Now, I don't want all those women ringing up and going crook about me either. Falciano is at 7 to 2. Sasha Bijou at 66 to 1. Natural Habit at 5 to 1. Out to 6 to 1. Rajamar is an 8 to 1 chance. Max Walker's tip. 20 to 1 My Blue Kingdom. 66 You and I. About 11 to 8, 5 to 4 Wonder Dancer. He's my tip. He's hardly value, but I do think he'll win. 7 to 1 Marimbula Bay and 9 to 1 Janica. Malcolm Johnston, the former TJ Smith Wonder Boy, back in the Tulloch Lodge camp today on this hot pot Wonder Dancer.
Malcolm won this race twice for Tommy Smith on Kingston Town a few years back. Light flashing, all set, and they're off in the George Main. Good start. They came out in a nice even line. Marimbula Bay is first to break that line of horses. Balciano began well. Uranai is now rushing up on the outside into second spot, followed by Natural Habit, who's trapped deep early. At the head of the others came Rajamar, followed by Jenica and Wonder Dancer on the fence behind the leading pack. A length and a half to My Blue Kingdom, and the grey Sasha Bijou had tailed out to be last. In the run to the first turn, and one of the 3-year-olds, Marimbula Bay, went to the lead by a length on Uranai. Running third, Natural Habit on the outside of Balciano, followed by Rajamar and then Jenica. Wonder Dancer getting shuffled back on the inside. My Blue Kingdom is 3 deep going around that first turn, and tailed off is Sasha Bijou. To the crossing at the 800 mark, Marimbula Bay led by 3/4 to Uranai. Natural Habit third on the outside of Balciano, a length to Rajamar, followed by My Blue Kingdom. Wonder Dancer awkwardly placed as pegged away on the fence, followed by Jenica, and last is Sasha Bijou. Approaching the 600 mark as they near the turn, Marimbula Bay by a half length on Uranai, with Balciano third. Natural Habit fourth on the outside, and then Rajamar. Wonder Dancer with nowhere to go. In fact, he had to ease off the heels of Rajamar momentarily, but into the straight, Marimbula Bay the leader, clear of Uranai and Balciano. Wonder Dancer on the fence, followed by Natural Habit and My Blue Kingdom as they top the rise. Balciano is about to pounce on Marimbula Bay. Down the outside, My Blue Kingdom, and Wonder Dancer is now into the clear. Balciano hit the lead from Marimbula Bay. My Blue Kingdom and Wonder Dancer is now hitting top gear. Balciano just in front. Look at Jenica. Jenica is jumping out of the ground. He's going to beat them all. Jenica, what a run. Jenica got up to win from Balciano, Marimbula Bay and Wonder Dancer with noses between them. And then My Blue Kingdom, Rajamar, followed by Sasha Bijou, and the last couple, Natural Habit and Uranai, back at the tail of the field. Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff Chapman has won 2 races here today. He won earlier with Temple Front, and he's won the big one with Jenica. On both occasions, they jumped out of the ground, and on both occasions, they proved to be a thorn in the side of race callers, because I have had to pull that out of my jumper, Jenica, in the last 50 metres. It's one of those races where you can't spit the words out quickly enough. Jenica, number 10, what a run. $5 and $1.25. Shane Dye in the saddle. Now, second and third, your guess as good as mine. Lips between them. Balciano, 85 cents. Marimbula Bay on the place tote would pay $1.20. And Wonder Dancer, Ken, should it sneak into a place, that was TAB number 8, it'll pay 60 cents.
Yeah, very close, John, but down the outside comes Jenica. Have a look at him, smothering the other horses, and he wins quite clearly. Wonder Dancer was held up between runners. I think if he was keener and gamer, he'd have dived through and won. Dear, I don't have much luck with him. Jenica's won. I reckon Balciano's run second, and possibly Marimbula Bay might have even nutted Wonder Dancer for third, but it's very close for third. And, oh, well, that's the story of the George Main Stakes. Jenica, previously the winner of only a maiden at Kembla Grange, has won the George Main Stakes at Randwick. 3-year-olds in weight for age races. It's a great system. Race 6 coming up is the Queen's Cup, and in the Queen's Cup, I like number 10, Zemakima.
Ken, I always said you were a good judge. I've made Zamakima my each-way special too in the Queen's Cup. He's only a light little bloke, this, isn't he, Jenica? Gee, there's nothing of him. He's a pony. Breastplate, very light. Jeff Chapman, all smiles there, and he's been wrapped in him for a long, long time. Jenica by Crested Wave, and today was having only his 5th race start. Super run and a double for the Chapman stable to pay $5 and $1.25. So it's a boil-over in the George Main Stakes. In a moment, the drugs in sport debate. 2,400 metres. I don't think there are a great number of chances in the race. The Queen's Cup rotates to every state of Australia year by year, and it's 5 years now since Noble Heights won the last Queen's Cup in 1983, and that was run at Warwick Farm. Ken, if you're looking for a topical tip in the Queen's Cup, the only one I can find is Peaceful Kingdom. Indeed it is, John. Whether he's good enough, well, that's another thing. Let's look at the prices here on the Queen's Cup. Eye of the Sky, very impressive at Newcastle. Pretty good value, I think, at 15 to 1 to be ridden by Wayne Harris. Mountbank, 20 to 1. Grosvenor Square, well in commission at 7 to 2. Natski, a hot favourite on the tote and in the betting ring at 2 to 1. $1.50 at the moment for 50 cents. Rising Fear getting out to close to 80 to 1. 9 to 1 Might. 25 Peaceful Kingdom.
Number 8, Sentos, lost at Rosehill on protest. Perhaps today's his day, 11-1. He'll be well ridden by Kevin Moses. Say La Vie, Richard Lyons Mount is at 50-1. My tip is Zemakima to be ridden by Johnny Marshall between 11-2 and 5-1. He's third favourite. He's also a stablemate, incidentally, of the favourite Natsuki. Fancy Flight at 3:30, 40 Snow Chief, long odds the others. They're about to jump in the Queen's Cup of 1988.
All set. 2,400 metres, 200 to the winning post, and then one circuit of Randwick. Final scene, fidgety in the gate, an attendant giving the rider some assistance. They're away. Final scene began awkwardly. He's last out of the barrier. Mountie Bank also began sluggishly, and Snow Chief bounced out in front of Rebel Yell and Say La Vie. Might is cruising over from a wide barrier to join those leaders, and then Sentos and Zamakima going hard early. Peaceful Kingdom is trapped wide, even wider going out of the straight Pearl Island, and then Fancy Flight. Mountie Bank is improving between horses, followed by Final Scene, and then Grosvenor Square. A good way back as Natsuki, followed by Mixed Up, and then Eye of the Sky and Oh Nota with Rising Fear, and last is My Kind of Girl. Snow Chief is in front, approaching the 1800 mark at a very muddling speed, led by a half length on Peaceful Kingdom. Pearl Island is moving up into third place, followed by Rebel Yell, and then Might on the outside from Mountie Bank. On the fence behind those, Zamakima in a good spot. Final Scene pulling hard, and the rider's going to allow him to stride around the outside now, and Final Scene is about to move up into second place. Pearl Island took over going to the back and led by nearly 2 lengths on Final Scene. Snow Chief is now relegated to third, although Peaceful Kingdom has moved past him, followed by Might, and then Rebel Yell and Mountie Bank, and Sentos is next, and the pace has quickened appreciably. On the fence midfield is Zamakima, followed by Fancy Flight. Grosvenor Square out deep as Mixed Up, followed by Say La Vie. Further back in the field came Natsuki, Rising Fear, moving around the outside, and then Eye of the Sky and Oh Nota, and last My Kind of Girl. In the run to the top turn, Pearl Island is the leader, clear of Peaceful Kingdom and Might, followed by Final Scene, Snow Chief, and then Rebel Yell, Zamakima, Mountie Bank, Sentos. Rising Fear continuing to make ground around the outside, and further back Fancy Flight. Grosvenor Square awkwardly placed. Mixed Up is out deep on the track, followed by Natsuki, who's behind a wall of horses, and then Say La Vie and Oh Nota from Eye of the Sky, and still My Kind of Girl is last as they near the 600 mark, and Rising Fear had moved up to momentarily lead, although Pearl Island again went through to head him as they near the turn. Peaceful Kingdom in third place, followed by Snow Chief, and then Might. Zamakima with nowhere to go as they turn for home, and then Mountie Bank and Natsuki is carted about 8 deep on the corner. Into the straight, Peaceful Kingdom and Pearl Island and Rising Fear. Snow Chief is joining in, followed by Final Scene, Might, and Zamakima getting a split near the inside, and here comes Natsuki. Zamakima got through on the fence to join Snow Chief. Natsuki coming at the pair of them. Zamakima just in front. Natsuki is coming at him. Natsuki on the outside, headed Zamakima, and Natsuki's going to be a little too strong. Natsuki and Zamakima. Natsuki coming away on the line, won it by 3/4 of a length to Zamakima, and it's a Jack Denham Quinella. Sentos probably third in front of Snow Chief and My Kind of Girl, and then Grosvenor Square, Eye of the Sky, Might, Say La Vie, and then Oh Nota, Rebel Yell, Fancy Flight, Mixed Up, Rising Fear, Final Scene, Peaceful Kingdom, Mountie Bank, and Pearl Island is last in the Queen's Cup. It's a Jack Denham Quinella with Natsuki. A super effort, forced 7 and 8 horses wide on the turn into the straight, and it was a very powerful performance that saw Natsuki get home from his stablemate Zamakima. Now Natsuki, number 4 on the TAB, to pay $1.50 and 75. Zamakima, number 10, is going to pay $1.05. And which one did I nominate for third? Probably Sentos, I think. Number 8, if he does, Ken, he'll pay $1.75.
Yes, John, G sprinted quick when he sprinted Natsuki. So Zamakima fought back, having on his third run in his first 2400 this preparation. A great run. Jack Denham's going to be hard to hold off in the Metrop with these 2 horses. The honours today were with the stable P, Natsuki. Unfortunately, I was on the second horse, Zamakima, and as John said, I think you'll find Sentos has snuck into third place in the last couple of hops. That was the story of the Queen's Cup. 2 to go here at Randwick. In race 7, the second leg of the daily double, I like the Queenslander, number 5, Don't Play.
OK, Ken, Don't Play has an excellent record in Queensland, and he's been to Sydney before. In fact, last autumn he ran 4th to Sky Chase in the Rosehill Guineas, so he knows his way around here, and he proved that day that he's got a touch of class. Well, Johnny Marshall had to weave and duck and change course on Zama Kima. You can't use that as an excuse because he dead set hit the front and he found his stablemate Natski just a little too strong, a little too seasoned, and Natski, who I might add is a year older than Zama Kima, was able to beat him about a half or three-quarters of a length. Natski, Gavin Duffy, the winner. OK, coming up, we meet some very special athletes.
Got Bruce Ruxton out there to present the trophy, have they, mate?
I'll tell you what, if he walked through the Vista Room restaurant, which is situated directly under our commentary box, he'd get a rude old shock. Lunch is being served, or was served earlier, to about 350 delegates of the Asian Racing Conference. And Bruce would have been emotionally overawed, I'd imagine, had he walked through the Vista Room. Kenny, you'll be interested to know, presentation of trophies for this race will be made by Dato Dr. Yahya Ismail.
Good old Yahya. Well, there's been plenty of Asians in Sydney in the last week, and after a few of the Asian jockeys rode at Warwick Farm on Wednesday, there was a few people voting in favour of Bruce Ruxton. That is said rather lightheartedly. Let's look at these prices. Card Shark is at 33 to 1 now, getting out. Gold Trump, short odds, 6 to 4 favourite. He's got a good chance. I just think he's under the odds. Warned at 15 to 1. Western Sovereign at 20 to 1. Don't Play is into 11 to 2. He's my pick. I think that's pretty fair odds. He should get a good run from the 1 alley. He's as strong as anything. Gee, I'm starting to get a bit keen on him. Hyder Prince at 16 to 1. Pleasant Flight at 25 to 1. Regal Native eased out a bit, 7 to 1. Make that 7.5 to 1 now. True Dreams at 11 to 1. Port of Capsali's gone from 8 to 1 into about 7 to 1. Rama King at 40 to 1. Life at the Top was won earlier in the day, so she scratched from this. Yarn is an 80 to 1 chance into about 66s. 200 Lord Foxing, 330 Rocket Master. Now Desert Bow, he's been well backed in the ring. 50s into about 20s, the same on the tote, round about 22 to 1 actually. And Wedu Menawa at 400 to 1. Physique and Quality Affair were both scratchings. Don't Play going to return at the moment about $3.20. I think he's got a heck of a good chance. He'll be ridden by Gavin Duffy, who won the previous race, the Queen's Cup on Natski. Here's Johnny.
Good Ken. Gold Trump, of course, has a great record. He's won 7 out of 9. He broke down a year ago with a suspensory ligament strain. He was out for a long time, but since coming back, he's put together win after win, although Bart Cummings is the first to admit that leg is always a worry, particularly on the hard tracks as they are at the moment. We might just have time, or no, I was going to say we might have time to look at the closing stages of the Melbourne race, but I think I'm flirting with danger because we've only got Warned to move up, Desert Bow and the other one in the all-pink Rocket Master, and they'll be off, so we won't risk it. Warned and Desert Bow to move up. Desert Bow's the only 3-year-old in the race. Pardon me. Now, Desert Bow and Warned are the last two up into the starting gates. Desert Bow, the lone 3-year-old. The amber light flashing on top of the gates, and the starters coming over to release the field. They're about set. Big field in the Malaysia-Singapore Trophy. Starters not quite satisfied with them. He's having one long, lingering look down the line before he mounts his rostrum. Hyder Prince stands up well with Wetu Manawar. Oh, there's one rearing, looked like Lord Foxing. Steadies again. Starter still not satisfied with them. Now the line looks better. Don't Play made a lunge at the front of the gate. No, the starter's not happy. He got down off his rostrum and he's walking back across towards the stalls. In fact, he's on the track in front of about gate 7 or 8. Or no, even wider than that. He's out around gate 12. Apparently, those gates showed some indication that they might be going to spring open prematurely. And the starter's making an adjustment. Well, you wouldn't believe it. Most of these are old stages, and something must have just banged its head on the front gate, and Billy Cooper was worried about it. And he rushed over to make a quick adjustment. In fact, he just reached into his pocket, and I'm sure he took out a screwdriver. The starting gates are quite a unique invention. They're run by magnetism. The gates are held together by big magnetic plates, and when the starter hits the button, he cuts off the power. The magnetism lapses. The magnetic field terminates, and big springs pull the gates open with amazing force. And with one hell of a clang too, and quite a thrilling experience to be over at the starting point and to hear that metallic clang as the stalls fly open and the jockeys hooping and hollering in the first 2 or 3 strides of the race. Now, the starter's satisfied that he's been able to make the necessary adjustment to the front of gate 11 or 12, and he's now back on his rostrum. And they should jump at any second in race 7, the Malaysia-Singapore Trophy. The track is cleared and they're off and running. And slow to move, Lord Foxing and Rama King. They were both flat-footed at the start. Wide out, Rocket Master and Desert Bow won the start. Gold Trump began quickly, and so did Western Sovereign. Pleasant Flight is quickly pushing through into a prominent spot soon after the start. Close handy near the inside as Don't Play, and then True Dreams followed by Port of Capsali. Regal Native has pushed about 4 deep in the run to the first turn, and Rama King is improving after that slow start, followed by Yarn, and then Card Shark and Wet 2 Man of War, Lord Foxing, Hader Prince being second last, and Warned on the outside as last. At the 800 mark, Pleasant Flight is the leader. Western Sovereign second, Rocket Master third, makes a line of 3. About 3 lengths away, Desert Bow on the outside of Gold Trump, and then Regal Native, who can't get on the track. Port of Capsali between horses, Don't Play on the fence, being niggled a bit. True Dreams in trouble, he all but fell. True Dreams dropped back sharply as they neared the turn, and then Yarn followed by Card Shark and Wet 2 Man of War. Into the straight, Pleasant Flight the leader, clear of Western Sovereign. Gold Trump got a beautiful run up on the fence. He's about to switch to the outside now as they top the rise, and further out Regal Native, Don't Play, can't win. At the 200, Pleasant Flight tackled by Gold Trump. Regal Native on the outside trying to reach them but can't at the moment. Pleasant Flight is still in front. Gold Trump got to his girth. He can't get any further, and it's Peter Cook again at his brilliant best on Pleasant Flight, which led all the way to beat Gold Trump. Regal Native is third, then Port of Capsali, Hader Prince, Rocket Master, Rama King, Desert Bow, and then Warned and Yarn, Don't Play, Wet 2 Man of War. True Dreams well back after a nasty check on the turn, followed by Western Sovereign, well back as Lord Foxing, and Card Shark is last. P. Cook, cold as a mackerel. Iceberg Cook, he won on Life at the Top earlier on today, so it's a winning double for Peter, and Pleasant Flight is trained by his best mate, former jockey Neville Voigt. Pleasant Flight, number 7 on the TAB. Oh, listen to this. $18.50 and $3.95. Gold Trump second on the Place Tote 70, and third will be Regal Native, number 8. Ken on the Place Tote, $1.20.
Gee whiz, he looked a treat going out, John, that horse. You just thought, oh, well. But still, there was no speed in the race that suited him down to the ground. And really, Gold Trump was never going to get him down the straight. He had his big head up and was still under a lot of pressure, a half length behind him. Peter Cook still hadn't gone for Pleasant Flight. Now he does, and he quite comfortably maintains that half length, if not making it 3/4 now onto a length. And, oh well, Gold Trump has beaten Regal Native third. But Gold Trump was a bit lucky. He got the run he did inside his stablemate Western Sovereign, who moved out quickly at the top of the straight, or he mightn't have got as close as he did. The margin, well, perhaps a half length on the line, but a clear win to Pleasant Flight, as John told you, at big odds. One to go here at Randwick. My tip is Blixen. She's won her last 2 at Randwick and Warwick Farm. Number 3 coming up today. I'm fairly confident. Number 7, Blixen.
Okay, Ken, numbers 7, 2 and 8 official, 7, 2 and 8 officially, and Pleasant Flight is the winner. The runner-up is Gold Trump, and the third horse, number 8, Regal Native. Righto, in a moment, more of the Nations Cup show jumping. Until he retired in 1948, and this fillies race has been a very well-known one on the AJC calendar since that early period. Now, in Melbourne today, the meeting is at Moonee Valley. They're racing again there tomorrow, incidentally, the famous Moonee Valley Stakes Sunday meeting, which generally draws a big crowd. Today, the Fian Stakes was the principal race. A little New Zealand horse called Our Poetic Prince had his first Melbourne start this trip. He's been here before, of course. I heard reports across the Tasman that he was back bigger, better, brighter than ever, and those reports were certainly not exaggerated. Watch him win the Fian Stakes today.
As they round the home turn, Rancho Ruler headed by Flotilla. Bo Rogan behind them can't go on. Sky Chase pulled to the outside, running home fairly, and so also Our Poetic Prince as they straighten up now. 250 left to go, and Flotilla tackled by Our Poetic Prince on the outside. Our Poetic Prince on the outside's taken the lead from Flotilla halfway down the straight. Sky Chase behind them and Bo Rogue, but it's the New Zealander Our Poetic Prince coming away for a big win. Our Poetic Prince has won by a length and a quarter. Second is Flotilla. Bo Rogue or Sky Chase for third, followed by High Regard. Then Rancho Ruler.
Well, Ken, he's been here before, our Poetic Prince. He just seemed to lack something the last couple of times we've seen him, but he's a stronger horse now. That was very impressive win.
Yes, Johnny, it was a pretty good run last year. Went second to Rubiton in the Cox Plate at Moonee Valley. He's a bit of a racehorse, our Poetic Prince. Let's look at these prices on the Red Allen Superfecta. Grey Fee, a clear favourite at 5-2. 8-1 Heidi, 5-1 Atalanta's Way. 8-1 now Fine Blend. St Bridget's Well at 15-1. Blue Pulse at 20-1. I'm pretty keen on this filly. Blixen, almost 9-1 on the tote. $4.90 for 50 cents. Gee, I think she'll run a race. 20s Kith, 11 Sally Sopra, 7 Bolshoi for the dancers. 100 Slightly Pink, 66 Submerged, 100 All Nay. Venus Arana is out. Look at these long odds. 500 Dixiana, 200 Miss Quality, 500 Brigana, 60 Pity Palace. She started favourite at Warwick Farm on Wednesday, and 660-1 Dash of Joy. Countess Maritza, she was the second reserve and she never got a start. They're just about all in. Here's the best caller in the business for the lucky last. Give Blixen a cheer for me. Here's Johnny Tapp.
Good, Ken. I'll certainly do that. Blixen, ridden by Shane Dye, who's ridden a double here today, including the George Main Stakes on Jenica. So he's got to make it a treble to win on Blixen. Starters on his stand, and they're all set and ready to jump in the last of the day. The line looks good, and they're off and running. And slow to move at the start, Submerged. She began very awkwardly, and Dixiana went straight back to the tail. Now Kith on the extreme outside won the start and is showing blistering early pace to lead over Blixen when they get going, followed by All Nay. Heidi is prominently placed soon after the start, and Blue Pulse is racing up closer to the lead. St Bridget's Well is handy, but trapped out very deep in the run to the first corner, followed by Bolshoi. Further back then as they go around that turn is Miss Quality, a gap to Fine Blend and Salis Opera. At the head of the others came Pity Palace, followed by Slightly Pink, and then Dash of Joy. Well back in the field, Submerged, followed by Atalanta's Way and Brigana, and tailed off is Dixiana. 700 metres out, and Kith is the leader over Heidi and St Bridget's Well, who's 3 deep. A length and a half away on the fence coming to the turn is Blixen, whose rider's lost his cap, and then Bolshoi and Blue Pulse, who's 3 wide. At the head of the others, Grey Fee. Oh, there's two horses down. Dash of Joy has fallen. Miss Quality has fallen. 2 horses down on the turn. A couple of others badly interfered with, including Slightly Pink. Over the rise now, and Kith is the leader. Heidi grabs it quickly. Heidi shoots to the lead. Here comes Pity Palace on the outside, but she hung in badly. He's got to straighten her up, and now she goes for home. Pity Palace. She's running about all over the track, but she takes the lead 100 metres out. Atalanta's Way is storming down the outside, but Pity Palace in front, close to home, and she'll win. And Pity Palace beat Atalanta's Way. Third's close, Blixen probably a nose in front of Grey Fee. Submerged, a big run, followed by Salis Opera, and then Fine Blend, Heidi, Blue Pulse, Brigana, Bolshoi, St Bridget's Well. Further back, Dixiana, followed by All Nay, and then Kith and Slightly Pink, and 2 riderless horses. Firstly, Dash of Joy, just going past the winning post. One of 2 to fall about the 600 metres mark. Apprentice M. Fitzgerald dislodged from Dash of Joy, and the Singapore Malaysia jockey KLU has also come to grief on Miss Quality. Slightly Pink almost fell. She went within an ace of being a 3rd one to come down, but miraculously stayed on her feet, and a couple of others were badly interfered with. But Miss Quality and Dash of Joy down, and those 2 riders on the track. Oh, gee, that was nasty. Let's hope they're okay. M. Fitzgerald and KLU. Pity Palace. Struth, what price is this going to be? Pity Palace, number 18, Craig Carmody, is going to pay $28.50 and $5.50. Atalanta's Way, number 3, will get second to pay $1.10. And I think Blixen will get third, number 7, to pay $1.65, Ken.
Here's the fall, John. If we pick it up with it back in outside the grey horse, you'll see the horse will start to tumble there. Down she goes. The horse following her on gets over the top of it, but now I think you'll see the jockeys dislodged. Well, there's 2 down. One was out of the picture, unfortunately, further back, and a very nasty fall in the last race here at Randwick. The winner, Pity Palace, only just missed that trouble, and as I said in the run-through, she started 9-4 favourite at Warwick Farm only 3 days ago. How would you be if you took 9-4 at the farm and saw her win at 60-1 today at Randwick? Oh boy, Johnny, that'd certainly make you go crook.
I'll say it would, Ken. The numbers are 18, 3 and still no sign of third. I was watching very closely at that slow-mo replay. I think KLU's mount was the first to go, Miss Quality. She just seemed to run onto the heels of something in front. Slightly Pink jumped over the top of her. She just took off as though it were Beecher's Brook, Slightly Pink. Kevin Moses mount. I don't know how she stood up. And then along came Dash of Joy and ran over the fallen rider, and she too hit the deck. KLU and the other boy, young Fitzgerald, who's apprenticed to Brian Mayfield Smith. Let's hope they're okay. Grey Fee got up in the last stride to run third in the final race, ridden by Nigel Tiley, a whisker in front of Blixen. I thought Blixen might have got third, but not to be. 18, 3 and 1, and racing ends on a sensational note. Coming up, we meet some Aussie bobsledders.